So wait, what happened to your battery?
Well, liberal Uber over here drained the whole battery in the span of like 2 minutes. Like I was at like 16, 17%. And the whole battery just drains in the span of 5 minutes.
A DC drain out.
And it went down the DC drain. It truly is a swamp. And every time you go here, you just get drained. Whether it's your battery, your life source, the sweat in your skin from the humidity, everything just gets drained over here. And I precisely blame the Democratic Party for not funding proper plumbing, okay? Because stuff is not supposed to drain no matter what. Stuff is only supposed to drain when you tell it to go down the drain, okay? And it's Democrats and the regulations and the economy that are holding back such innovations from becoming economically applicable.
And where in the world is our Uber?
Okay, so I'm here with?
Adam?
So the question of the day is, do you think America is great?
I'd have to say as a visitor to the US, that from what I've seen so far, yeah, it is great.
So for the viewers, could you explain why?
I think generally the attitude of the people and the diversity and actually how friendly everybody's been.
Okay, so I'm here with?
Peggy Ratliff from Houston, Texas.
So the question of the day is, do you think America is great?
I do think America's great, and I'm proud to be here.
For the audience, could you elaborate, like, what do you think America, like, how America is great?
Oh my goodness, so many ways. I'm recently retired teacher, and I had been a teacher for 15 years, and like I told my students, this is the only country in the world where we have all these freedoms. And every time,
Can I be in this?
yeah.
Huh, nice.
This is my adopted son. Every time we would study another country, I would tell them they do not have the same freedoms we do, especially when we studied countries like North Korea, Russia, some of these countries, right? You know that, right?
Yes.
Yes, they don't have any of those freedoms.
None of it.
I mean, my gosh, and look around look, all of us have cell phones. There's countries that don't have any cell phones at all.
I have a cell phone.
And what would you do without a cell phone?
I'd call my mom.
No, you couldn't call her if you didn't have a cell phone.
Oh, yeah, I would not call my mom.
Exactly. You would die without a cell phone. You think you would at this age. No.
I was stressed.
So think about that. They have none of those things. They have no TVs, no cell phones. They only get propaganda. No, we have all these freedoms that we just take for granted.
There's very few English-speaking people here, and it's really weird.
And somebody comes along and say, we're going to give you free everything. Everything's going to be free. Oh, by the way, we're going to raise your taxes to 75%, but they don't mean that because they can't nearly pay 95%, and that won't pay for it either. Won't even come close. We're going to do the Green New Deal, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Okay? It's crazy. But don't kid yourself. Not as easy when I'm up there on the debate all alone with some maniac that they chose. And that maniac is saying, we're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. We're going to give you everything. We're going to give you, everybody gets a free Rolls Royce. Every family. And we're going to take better care of illegal immigrants than we take care of our own citizens. And they're saying all of this stuff. And then those illegals get out and vote because they vote anyway. Don't kid yourself. Those numbers in California and numerous other states, they're rigged. You got people voting that shouldn't be voting.
Country where you're wanted, Trump supporters, because you're not Americans. You need to go home. Time to go back to the country you came from, white people.
Do you hate America? Do you hate America? My family came to this country legally. What do you mean? Are we garbage? Are American citizens garbage? My family came to this country legally. We became American citizens.
And now you're betraying it?
What do you mean? I love this country so much. It's the best country.
No, apparently you don't.
You have no
Apparently
idea.
you don't.
Why not?
You love kleptocracy. Apparently you like to get away with crime.
I've lived
That's
under
why you're a Trump supporter.
dictatorship.
Get away with the crime.
I love the Second Amendment. I love this country.
No, you don't love anything about America if you support Trump.
If I support Trump.
And why is that?
Come on.
No, and you don't.
This country. This is the best country.
If you did, we'd be having impeachment proceedings right now. But you don't.
Protest. Yeah, he has the right.
You don't support America. You just support getting away with the crime.
What crime?
You know, this is
It's obstruction of justice a crime.
making the man, you know, it's really informative to me. Since I got to admit it. I'm sorry. It's just a technique for hypnotizing you. I'm making you get down on your knees to listen to me.
Can you please turn your music down?
Poor babies. A whack? Is that how you express that? I think, yeah, that's the appropriate response to, please let us get away with this heist.
Please turn your music down so I can talk. We just want to talk. Come on.
If you have to ask, vote
Okay.
in hell. You're standing on the facts.
Oh, I'm standing on the facts.
I am all of this in
I'm
which you
standing on
squash.
concrete.
I'm all of this in which you squash. As are you. Everywhere you go, everyone you meet, there you are again. There's no getting out of here alive or dead. What? We will be here. No matter what comes next, we will be here.
Yeah, we
There's
will
no
too.
getting out of here.
We will too.
I
Even
know.
Even if a liberal president
That's
gets
why
elected, it's still our country.
you're so.
He gets to come here and protest the government. You can't do that where I come from. You're gonna be stupid. I love this country so much. You know, I love the Second Amendment. In my country, we don't have a Second Amendment. The people are dying in the streets. It's completely ridiculous. You know. And he calls me a racist. You know, he's supposedly for immigrants. You know, my family. My dad came to this country legally. He went through the legal process. My mom went through the legal process. She just got her green card. And he calls me a racist. You know, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't stand people like this.
So what are your thoughts on this guy right now?
He has not accomplished anything. He is not stating facts. He won't answer our questions. He is calling us Nazis, racists, sexist. He says we like communism, which is exactly the opposite of what we want. We want capitalism. Okay? I don't even know what his plan. He said he's running for president. Okay? He said he is the people of the homeless. He said he's Jesus Christ.
Right now.
So man, what do you think? What do you think about all that? What do you think about all that?
Liberals be tripping, man.
Why does that matter if somebody can't live by themselves?
Because then he's not able, because the baby's not able to live outside of my body.
Can this baby live very long without mom's help? Can anybody?
He can be adopted, and that baby isn't necessarily killing my body.
Other people's existence may cause harm to us.
What's your website? What's the Red View?
Don't be so uptight about it.
Permission before you started recording her, or me, because I'm not giving you permission to record me. She's not giving you permission.
Just my YouTube channel. I tried to come up with an unbiased name, and I couldn't come up with an unbiased name, so I just chose that. And all I do is just ask questions and let people speak their mind.
Question.
No, I don't ask. I'm not asking questions right now, but I mean I can if you want. So te-
Not put me on your site.
technically she just did because she told me to ask her a question. Okay, so I'm not talking to you anymore. So what you doing out here doing?
What am I out here doing? I am out here expressing my First Amendment rights because I am able to, and I realize that that is something that I should not take for granted. And I feel privileged that I am in a place where I see people with very different sides of their political thoughts coming together in one of the most politically identifiable places in the world. And that is something that I think is very important for us to protect, and is something that I hope I don't take for granted.
So I'm just out here asking a couple questions, just asking like what do people think about the U.S. right now? How do you think it's going? Yeah, how do you think it's going? And then sometimes I base my questions on like signs that are nearby. So what, like one would be like, what are your thoughts on this sign right here?
My thoughts on the sign right there are that I am frustrated that this is something that we are discussing when the majority of the developed world has protected a woman's right to make sure that she is able to be in control of her body. And while I think that abortion should be rare, I also want to make sure that my body is something that I am able to control myself.
Scientifically, it's been proven that even at conception, once that baby is conceived, it has its own unique genetic code. So would you consider that another person?
I guess I'm not sure what the relevancy of that is, if this is something about my health.
For example, I'm going to bring up the fact that you said that it's your body.
Back to the fact that you asked a moment ago how I think America's going and how things are. And I think that just talking about abortion is really narrow, and I don't think we're going to get anywhere on that, right? So what I would rather talk about are things of how we can come together, because I think that we're in a very divisive culture right now. The separation between rich and poor in this country is larger than it's been since before my grandparents were alive, and yet we're also in a time of more opportunity than we've ever had. And I think that we as a society are getting distracted by smaller things when we need to realize that we are a major player on a global stage and we can't isolate ourselves from the rest of the world.
Say a woman has a child, and it's
I'm just going to stop you, and I'm going to ask why this is what you find is so important to discuss.
No, I'm just talking about it because they're out here.
Of what it's like to be an American or what it's like to live in 2019. Because you're focusing on one specific issue, and I would rather open up the conversation to places where we can find common ground and where we can have things be better for everyone in the world. I realize that this is something that people feel very passionate about for a lot of solid reasons, that they really believe is what they need to do best in the way that they see fit in their lives, and I have to respect people's different opinions. And what I would prefer to do is, if you're really curious about how I feel about America, for you to ask about things beyond just abortion.
Can we go? We have to go to a gay abortionist wedding now, so we'll see ya.
Pretty true.
I swear.
They charge for
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the battery life wearing off too?